very shortly. She's been detained. Any disclosures of interest on any items of the agenda from councillors? No, thank you. Public questions in respect of items on the agenda. This is where the things. I think I can see a finger from Jeff.
Yes, it's Jeff Smith.
Thank you.
I have two, please, Chair.
Sorry?
I have two questions, please, and items on the agenda.
Which items?
Agenda 8A, to consider and approve the attached schedule
Yes.
payments for July. Can I just reiterate what I asked for last month, which was for the income to start to be shown, please. We now have 4 months without. Just one thing on the actual schedule itself. I note that there must have been a donation to the parish council, and a share of the donation is being issued to Mott's. And I believe, according to what's in the comments, the other part or half will be going to Dish. Can I just have very clarification, please, that that was a request by the donor?
Okay, and your second question?
Sorry, the two were really.
Oh, those
together.
were the two.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Any other?
Sorry, apologies. There is one small one. Agenda item 10A. Any report from Councillor Bello Turnbull's on anything which can assist the Twitten between Woodland Way and into the woods? I know it's an ongoing saga.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Agenda item number 13.
Can I have a name, please?
Graham Gillett.
Thank you. Item 13.
Yeah.
Website. Yeah.
Two questions. Would the parish council be prepared to accept help from me to bring the new website, or the development of the new website, to completion? Second question, if the Vice Chair's assertion that FastHost will not update their hosting provision to PHP version 8 is correct, and that GoDaddy will permit you to install the website on a PHP 8 instance, why have you not simply moved the current website from FastHost to GoDaddy, which would be a lot easier to achieve?
You might have to repeat that when Councillor Sharp's back. I don't do shorthand, I'm afraid.
Ask hosts to GoDaddy.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No. Okay. Right. The minutes of the last meeting. Councillors, do you have any anything on the minutes that you feel is not accurate? Are you happy for me to sign these as an accurate record of the last parish council meeting?
Yes. Yes.
Are there any matters arising from that are not otherwise on the agenda? Probably shouldn't be, because we have the same items on the agenda. Right. District councillors' reports. Who wants to go first?
You can do the silk.
Well, I'll go first, and if you wish to add anything, that's fine. Yes. All that I'm going to say is subject to confirmation at the full council meeting this coming Monday. First of all, the contract with BIFA looks set to continue for another 7 years from June 2026. They've given very good service, so I welcome that. And of course, by staying with the same contractor, it saves the costs of tendering and all the rest, which would be considerable. As part of that, and it's a joint contract with Wheeldon, of course, we shall be acquiring a new this will be from June 2026 also. And that results in a 90% reduction in CO2 emissions and also particulates and other pollutants. So that is very good news from the environmental point of view, and it goes a long way to helping us towards our net zero target for Rother. Also from, well, this time March 2026, there will be a weekly food waste collection. This is a central government requirement rather than a Rother initiative, and I hope that we will be financially reimbursed, at least to an extent, by central government, and that should be of benefit to us all, I hope. You may have heard of Rother's development at Blackfriars at Battle. That's a development to be about 200 houses, which we are building through our own building company. It's a difficult site, on very sloping, and it has been difficult to develop, and we had feared that we would not be able to provide any affordable housing on the site. All this is still uncertain, and there are many slip-ups on the way, no doubt. But the recent figures show that we should be able to devise a scheme whereby affordable housing will be delivered to a considerable extent on that site, and that is really good news as long as it happens. And I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that in the future. Councillor Droner referred to the community infrastructure levy. There are some revisions to the scheme. I don't know if you may not know. Community infrastructure levy is charged on building new houses, and the parish council gets a share of it, as they have in respect of the market garden site, and the rest goes to Rother, which is then allocated obviously to infrastructure projects. But there are various pots of money, and two of those pots which concern strategic, that is to say Rother-wide projects, two of the pots, the rural and the Bexhill, are to be merged, because of course we're dealing with the whole of the district, and it will work better that way. Some of us had feared that this was perhaps a way of Bexhill getting the upper hand, or with some sinister motive. We were proved wrong about that. It's entirely innocent and rational, and I think it's worth noting that within Rother, the distribution of community infrastructure funds is decided upon by a panel of councillors. So those councillors are formed from all parties and balanced between rural and Bexhill. So there is no danger there. And I have to say, some councils just let officers distribute the money without councillor input. But at Rother, we've been very definite that we wanted councillors to have the final word on where the money went. So that's all I've got to say. Tim.
Well, nice one. Expressions of interest, though, that was the other area that's under review from the community infrastructure levy, which is quite good news that that's open all year round, and before it was an annual gathering exercise. So whenever anything comes in and the parish wishes to, make it known to the district council, they're able to do so throughout the year.
Evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone cool we've had.
Thank you.
Is everyone okay to start with?
Yes.
Carol's in the back.
You really are.
I'm going to suspend the meeting for the moment.
Lynn, can you request that any other business is brought forward to before the private session, please? She said there was.
I did. I'll send it to you. But I don't have your email, unfortunately. Bella. David, sure. I haven't taken it.
Isn't that all fine? Can't I finish my report?
No.
It really is, isn't it? So what was it? What we did? Jackie Weaver. No authority to read the standing orders.
We don't have any fight in all that here.
You know what? I think we should set up the Jackie Weaver Award.
Don't make me laugh in your head for that.
Yeah, I've never seen that. But then I've never seen the screen up either.
If you're laughing at me, I think because with those screens up, I can't hear. So a lot of it, I literally
But there's no difference between district and parish council. We're bound under the same code of conduct. Right? Yeah, we're the same thing. It's just the actual
So you know what's going on in your policy. I asked just now if she was right. I asked if she was okay. We've done so much research on this film. I talked to my judge from about other judges. Go through this. We spent hours and hours. We are within the law. They are not within the law.
like a retainer. Yeah, with the bricks and that in it.
When you say transparency, and they say equally openness, they don't agree with transparency.
What's it? He did send me a text, but I didn't see it. Dominic said, yeah, but I didn't see it.
do. You're okay?
cover it over to make those gardens look the size they are, but now they're applied.
You're employing it in mind.
Glad to see you in the street.
It's very good. I blame Tim.
Yeah. Break the rules.
Is that another road? I mean, if you block up the street, obviously then we're not going to get sewage down there.
No,
But you're going to have a hell of a lot of it up there.
they're going to channel it by raising the embankment. It's like a cage of stones. So they build those up. Water can pass through, but the weight of it shouldn't move.
So that means that
It's channel.
reinforces the bank.
Yeah, so you'll have a channel and the bank.
We actually see it.
Well, if they put a fence, I'm not sure. But
I'll show you some pictures.
we're supposed to be having steps, but
That's what happens when you get your first ice cream.
you show a picture of my system. Okay.
I hope you are sending it
That's
to the
when you get your
BBC.
first ice
Yeah, I am.
cream.
Good.
Yeah.
Saying to Lynn, why don't we just move the screens out?
It was his second one, it was at the Ashford Design Centre, and I filled a cone up with lindt chocolate.
The camera's still
He
on.
couldn't eat it, but that place is calm. I was going to try and get hold of lindt, you know, the head office and send it up. This is your I can't eat chocolate, so I can't eat it. No, I had food poisoning in 1995. And 64 years went down food poisoning society already. And we didn't know about it, was till we found out they were going to London to get the antibiotics. And I've got something that made me trapped in my stomach, so I had a year. I threw up, and I got fed up with losing my lips. Didn't know so much about it, so that was all that took.
That's a goal as well.
I really think this is disrespectful.
Yes, we
Are we going to?
I've already ordered my pizza. I made sure. I did. I even got it. It's going to be
Then you can give them a timeline.
no, because they'll leave us now. There's no way around. I made sure we would leave up the side.
You're going to give up, I think.
No, they won't get it by 8, but they'll just leave it. That's quite. I did it back to about 10 minutes ago.
Just so we can look up stuff you've done out.
It's never shut. And then they come out really quickly.
You can go now. I think Derek, David, and Stephen.
She went in the minute they started, she went in the back room.
If I can get it to my friend, she's mainly involved in the party. So her brother's a very, very good friend. When I was having problems with my brain operation and implants that I've got, she came to my house and put me on saying that been infected by the wheelchairs. Yeah, and this poor man was such pain. So I've got this implant that goes into my brain. It controls brain. DVT in the leg and of course leaving the brain. And I went undiagnosed for a year, and by that time there was so much damage that, although there's nothing wrong with my body, my brain is screaming in pain.
So totally disconnected.
It destroyed all pain receptors. Yeah, but Chet's aunt was mayoress of the brain at that time, and also on the chair of the National Neuro in and she got and she paid for it until we raised the money on the plan. Yeah, the private consultant, so 4 years later, this new device came online from America. Do you want to do it again? Yes, please. And they put two in Pioneer, because it's Pioneering that broke down. But then the NHS said it's cost too much money. We can do atypical operations by the time one of these. So the manufacturer, my surgeon went to the manufacturer and said, your device has gone wrong. They said, oh, we'll give you a free one. Hang on, here you go. And the NHS, although they had to take this one off, so instead they put me in hospital for 3 or 4 which caused further debility and pulmonary embolism. So 2 years later, my friend said, we've got to do something. So went on the BBC in a few weeks. A new American company said they've got a different device, but you want to try it this place. And the surgeon put it in, and it's brilliant. It's really, I won't be walking with it. So I got remote control.
This is great.
It's been sharper. And it's taken a piece of it. I've still got the whole the whole thing, I got 2 electrodes that go across, and I can control the amperage and pain control. So yeah, it's been a challenge, but without the BBC, I wouldn't be involved.
If I was in America, I'd have been dead.
Really?
Or bankrupt.
Bankrupt, yeah.
They miss things.
But the NHS was on my side. It's just that the local funding run by businesses and there's the medical person on the team just says, oh yeah, this person was entitled to X amount of funds. And they refuse funding, so they need to. So basically, it's down to the business. A lot of people said, you know, you can sue for DVTs, PEs, left, right, but that won't get any further down the line. So I've had it in, this one has been really good, I've had it in for 4 years. I have an MOT in a National Neuro in Queen Square, London. It's next door to the Great Wall. But then that's very humbling when I go for you can see all those poor kids going to the street half the head down. The rooms where I go and see myself is shared by very and the garden out there, keep the money for them, it's heartbreaking. So without this, I don't know where I wouldn't be here. Sorry?
Never think
Chet said it's curbed my sense of humour, which is not a bad but yeah, there's a lot of hell people across the place. I've got ossified bleed in the brains and ossified DVTs. I've survived them. And I had COVID last October, put me in hospital, so my body's out to kill me. But as I said, so thousands of dollars. And I don't have a monopoly on pain.
still running.
Yeah.
Hope you recorded Coronation Street.
I think you can get it on box.
I know you can, it was a joke.
Sorry. I don't want to.
I still think someone should open that kitchen and make
Sorry? Kiki. I think we need to.
So we're going to sit here until
We're not going there. We're going down. We're going down. Chassie's being bullied. Not for that. The original budget, because people asked to develop not how you That needs accusing not to be written. And I would like to see my accusing.
We don't see it when I get
Still doing it.
Especially why actually has the Parish Council we've had no reports. And not one councillor has said, we apologise, we don't think that's right. And as I said, the problem is for people.
What's the association again? That's not our job to be I do. I want to know what's going on. When I've got time. That's it's nothing to do with me. But I still come to the meeting. Yeah. Well, no, it's because it's something that affects all of us. It will affect all of us. And there's such cracking buildings in it that I feel sorry for anyone who even makes a think of it. Because I didn't realise the barn opposite, I called it the barn, but yeah, that's up to stuff. You know, as you come past the well, not a lot.
You see it right?
One opposite and above them, that's us. Never had no titles. But then there's a lot of properties up and they're just not moving. Go, Christine. Hi, Christine. This is totally disrespectful. Oh yeah, no, I really touch one of them. I don't think I've ever been to that, especially that I have a bungalow. There's better bungalows going on. But not everybody wants to live like that. It's all like coming down, it's in love it was good, you this is the best bit of the then I look around. School teachers.
Tim Godfrey's place.
He's going to miss
I thought you'd gone out. I'm not going to be gone behind you.
So can the screens come down?
Right, thank you all for waiting. I will now reinstate the standing orders. Where have we got to? Number 8. It doesn't. Tim finished
Is
speaking.
anyone going to apologise?
Tim, had you finished speaking?
Not entirely.
Okay, you mentioned about the expressions of interest for Sil.
Yeah, that was one thing. And just to sort of round off from Councillor Mears' report about the conversion to biofuels or whatever, that's going to come at quite a hefty cost to the council. And the budget's being sort of finalised for the year as well, and there's going to be a £2 million drawdown from reserves. So initiatives like that are fantastic on paper, but I think it's about £300,000.
We don't have political comments in this meeting.
Well, it's a fact that was left out of a report that I thought the public might wish to know. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Right. Item 8, financial matters. To consider and approve the schedule of payments. The question about the income not being shown.
It was, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
It was mentioned at the last meeting, it will be put on the June minutes. It does actually appear now on the June minutes when they're actually published.
Is that with the backdated for the last 3 months or else, please?
I can't remember what's on the June.
The June meeting is April, May and year to date.
June,
April, May and June.
April, May,
June,
year to
on
date,
to
yes.
July.
Which is the
Thank
total
you.
of this financial year.
Thank you.
Just April and May on the June minutes.
And year to date.
Thank you.
And year to date.
And it's June the 24th.
June's not
Okay.
on.
Thank
Income-
you.
Income for
This-
June's not on. Just April and May.
That's what I said. April and May are on there.
Izzy was saying it wasn't, and the public was saying it was, and I'm just correcting them.
Right, and the other question was about the donation to MOP via Dish.
Yes, the request from a resident was that it was actually split 50-50
Thank you.
between Dish and Mob.
Okay. Anything else, councillors, on the schedule of payments that you wish to ask about? Okay. And to consider and sign the monthly bank reconciliations which have been here. I'll sign them at the end. That's okay. Pauline?
Yeah, that's
Sign
fine.
them at the end. Okay. Planning committee. To receive the monthly report, I believe.
You've got the information of the items on the actual thing here. The only main thing now is just to really report that the council's response to the draft local plan has been submitted. I would like to thank everyone who was involved in the production. It was a real good team effort.
Yeah.
And I think it was an excellent job. Hopefully it will have the desired effect.
Yeah.
May I ask a question about that?
Oh, you can.
I was given a copy, is the copy that I was given, is that the final report?
That is as the final report.
There are some errors in it.
It's the final report that was sent to Pauline. It's not the final report that was sent to Robert. Pauline did tidy it up.
It says here that the
the Rother District Coastal was to work on current coastal defences to hold the line until at least 2050. That's not what the commitment was. It was to hold the line for 50 years, which from 1990 makes it 2040. So that's an error.
Yep, okay, noted.
I
I mean, it's too late because it closed at 5 o'clock today,
Well,
so.
that's not very helpful, is it? And also at the bottom, it says downstream pet, and it's not pet, it's pet level.
Pet and Marsh and Brook, it says, I think.
No, it doesn't. In this copy, it just says downstream in pet, which if somebody looks at the map, they'll think that's a bit
Okay,
odd.
well,
Pet is up, not downstream, it should be pet level.
Right, right, okay, well, it's gone, and I underscore what.
I thought it was 2050 anyway.
No, that's 50 years, David, which from 1990 to 2040.
Why you say it's 1990?
That's when it was done, that's when it was built, it was the first berm.
That was the first berm, but I think there were variations as they went along.
No, they weren't. The first berm was the one that was counted, and it said 50 years from then.
I think actually this is a bit of an academic question,
think it
because
is,
the
yeah.
planners will know the Hold the Line. The Hold the Line is a very well publicised document.
And I'm just
The
thinking.
Can I just say?
The document has gone in
Yeah.
because the deadline was 5 o'clock. I presume it's 5 o'clock.
Can I just say, the reason why the amendment went in was that the document initially was not making it clear at all for how long Rother would be holding the line. What we put in was something as far as we generally understood it, was that all of the berms and coast protection schemes, including the pumps, would be maintained until we thought 2050. If it's 2040, it's 2040. But the point was that to make sure that the thing said it was the whole rocket was going to be maintained and hold the line. Otherwise, we could have problems at a later date if one of the, if for instance, one of the berms had not had that hold the line thing, and they said, well, we're not maintaining it. So I think we acted cautiously, and I have no doubt at all we did the right thing.
And in fact, talking to the planners at the meeting, I talked to them about the coastal management area, and they were saying that they were trying to strengthen that bit anyway in the full plan.
I just want to.
We're very much in the coastal area, so this is one of the most important things, and we don't dismiss things like that.
David, I do know this. I have been around since '77 in this area, so I don't need you to tell me.
Can we keep civility,
yes,
please?
I am being civil, thank you.
No, you were shouting.
I am not.
You were shouting.
And it's important that there's accuracy, so I just wish this had been shown to me before it was going, but I could have made sure that it said pet level and not pet.
Could I just say that I think if Rother, when they look at the plan, or whoever's going to look at the plan, if they see there are any errors, as with all the other suggestions we've made, they will accept or reject it also.
Yeah.
So,
Shame that it makes it sort of a bit inaccurate. So I just think it doesn't give a good impression.
Well, I think out of a 480-page document, to have possibly 2 areas that are not completely accurate is actually a fairly good hit rate. Given that this plan was looked at by councillors and residents, all of whom actually have lives as well. Right, moving on. Moving on. Well, it wasn't shown earlier because the meeting with the planners was only on the 11th of
It
July.
could have been shown to me earlier.
Anyway, moving on. Land management steering group. There's a monthly report somewhere. I did send it, yeah. On Friday, I was at a Pathfinder meeting, which was quite informative, and they're carrying on with the lining work, and I think those in the areas that are going to be lined have had letters, and updates will be provided. Ron, there was a question about the Twitten. I don't know if you're able to answer it now, or you wish to look into it and discuss it with the questioner in a bit more detail.
I'll certainly look into it, but Jeff, if you could elucidate what you're referring to, please.
Yes, I'll speak to you. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Afterwards, yeah, thank you.
Can I just, sorry,
Yeah.
can I just say in relation to Dolwood, etc., that I had a meeting with Sue Clark and one of the other volunteers that she works, or core volunteers she works with. And they're continuing to caucus and do what is necessary, but there's only 2.5 of them really, bless them. And,
Is the half the dog?
What Sue is asking for is that we can publicise the fact that she, or they, meet every Tuesday around about 10 o'clock, and volunteers would be most welcome. At the moment I'm endeavouring to get a scout group that I'm in touch with in relation to my responsibilities for the Royal British Legion, to see if they can volunteer and give them a hand on 7 occasions. But that's work in progress.
10 o'clock on Tuesdays?
Yes.
And they meet just somewhere in Norwood?
Yeah. Where the steps are.
But Sue Clark would be a point of contact, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll put that in the newsletter.
Thank you.
What else? We had a walk last month. I think we reported we had a walk round with the flood manager on Woodfield, and I had a chat with him after the Pathfinder meeting and updated him, and he was happy with the plan we had put in place, more of which it works. Steve, highways, anything?
Well, a couple of things I guess we should report to everybody. Due to Purda, we've been unable to make correspondence with highways about repairs and Battery Hill discussions that happened, but that will now take place. However, on the 16th of July, we received a letter from Councillor Dowling, East Sussex County, which says that they are doubling the investment in the patching programme across the county, which has to be good news. And they've also said that roads are a priority for us at the County Council. So doubling of the patching programme can only be good. Those other road matters will be pursued, and hopefully we'll get some sort of answer with regard to Battery Hill, whether that be white lining or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah. Okay, and
Chair, Stu, could you mention the sightlines towards Martinville Lane as well? What's happening there? Thank you.
we were to receive a report from Councillor Williams, and we were hoping Carl would be here to help us with our discussions. We now need a councillor to pick this up, really, don't we? Yeah. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
That's if we have a council next week.
Well, I think
I'll let you know how far we've got.
Thank you.
I think harassment aside, we will keep our councillors. The bench on the bench at the top of the mountain, which a lot of cyclists use and which had subsided, has been removed. We're not sure who by, but they've left the holes, which are now a bit of a problem. But I've been in touch with Ollie Hunter, who owns the other side of the hedge, and he is in contact with East Sussex, because it's highways, stuff about that. We're not sure if East Sussex are going to replace it or not, but Ollie has said he would quite like a bench the other side, or a seat the other side, which I think would be an enhancement, and I think we would like to enter into discussion with him about the parish council helping him with that. I think it would be a bench that would be quite suitable for plaques, memorial plaques that would help to fund it. So that's something land management. Excuse me.
It's not a contentious point.
No. This is a meeting of the parish council. The public are not allowed to talk.
But it applies to what you're talking about.
Well, you can tell us that.
I can tell you or not, it's up to you, but it's helpful.
Open forum.
Yeah, open forum.
Okay. I don't know whether you're aware.
Open forum, in open forum.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
We have open forum at the end of every parish council meeting.
Oh, yes. Okay.
At which you can talk about anything. It doesn't have to be on the agenda. Right, moving on. Finance and Admin Committee. There's a report on the Finance and Admin Committee which met. We note we noted the budget monitoring figures. We note that we have appointed a solicitor to look at the new leases. These are going to be quite complicated, but we hope that the solicitor we've appointed, who seemed quite clued up on the problems, will come up quickly with a lease for all three groups. And D, to note the decision we made on the agenda and minutes procedures. The Finance Committee was asked to look at the way we produce agendas and minutes. It looked at the relevant bits of legal notes and legislation, and we are happy that the way the Parish Council notifies of meetings and gives minutes is as our standing orders say they should be. Okay. Can I have the parish councillors, would you agree to delegate the costing of repairing play equipment on Woodfield? The small slide needs replacing. To look at the quotes for the drainage on Woodfield, which I've just talked about, and to look at the quotes for installation of the benches on the circle, near the circle and outside St Peter's. Are you happy for the Finance Committee to look at that and make the decision without having to come back?
Yep.
All in favour? Against?
Against.
Stephen?
I'm fine.
You're with, okay. The drop-in social hub, I don't think there's anything particular to report this month. Right, the Parish Council website. Carol, we had a question from Graham Gillett, who's sat by the doors, well you can't see him probably because of the screen. He was offering help with the website, but also asked if the PH8 cannot be upgraded on fast hosts, why don't you transfer the website straight from fast hosts to GoDaddy? Is that about right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh,
I've already said that in a previous report that is what is going to happen.
You meant the current one.
The point I was trying to make is
no, sorry, you've asked the question, you said the question, I've put it correctly.
If the gentleman wants to email me on my councillor email, then I will.
Could you speak up, please? Can't hear you.
Okay.
Speak up.
If
I
they,
can't be behind the screen, I can't hear you.
yeah, well, it's not our fault the screens are here.
Yeah, but I need to hear what's being said. Okay? I'm asking people to speak up because not everybody's hearing is
if you
perfect
cannot,
as yours.
Excuse me.
if you cannot hear, then I will repeat what was said, which is that Graham has been invited to email the Vice Chair.
Whisper. Joe.
Right, we are having interruptions. This is a meeting of the Parish Council in public. If there are further disruptions, people will be asked to leave. Thank you.
Chair, with regard to this website issue,
Yeah.
a couple of Parish Council meetings ago, I made a formal proposal that we put some investment in and additional support. Now, I think it's great to get an email response, but I really think we need to embrace as much help as we can.
We are very close.
To get to support Carol. To get what she wants
Stephen,
to
I'm
do.
happy to discuss it with you after the meeting, but it is all in place, but I'm happy to discuss it with you after the meeting.
Chair, if I could just make a point that the resident did suggest that he was willing to help. I will text them, but you didn't actually mention that.
I did. I said he was offering help. I said it at the beginning. And they are going to be in contact, so that's fine. Right, anything else on the website, councillors? Right, the War Memorial Steering Group, Hayden. Is he there?
Thank you, Chair. Good news. The granite is now at Breed. I actually saw it myself today, so they will now get on with the carving and assembling, and I see no reason why we will not hit our dedication date of this coming Remembrance Day. So a little piece of good news in the blue.
That is fantastic. And the other thing which I don't know if the proper officers shared with the rest of the War Memorial group.
No, it was a hopper's call this afternoon. I actually got a phone call.
Do you want to?
I actually had a phone call from another parish council in Bedfordshire, North Hill in Bedfordshire, who have actually seen the details of what we're going through, putting the memorial up, etc., etc.
On the website.
On the website. The little story that we put on, they think it's a fantastic job that we're actually doing and that we're going to achieve, and they are taking the lead from us and actually going to put up a memorial for 4 young men who were killed in a training exercise in the Second World War. So they will be in touch with myself and probably members of the steering group to see how we actually went forward with it.
So congratulations to the War Memorial Steering Group. Your work is being noted, and again, Fairlight is getting a reputation for being a council and an area that gets things done.
And I personally congratulate Hayden specifically for all his hard work.
Well, I think it is the whole group.
It's a group effort, and
I think.
Thank you.
Right, Hastings Country Park.
Me again, sorry. There are 3 things here. Councillor Baker will really be able to answer more of the issues than I can. There have been further problems with boy racers and disturbance late at night, and Councillor Baker has some measures that I'm sure you'll talk about to report those. We've not had any response to our requests through the Freedom of Information procedure to get further information from Hastings Council, so that's ongoing, and the on-site catering at the Bale House has now restarted at a modest level, and I gather they're intending to build up to something approaching what it was before over the course of the next few weeks. But the most important thing is the action on the boy racers, which is causing quite a lot of disturbance.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, let me comment very briefly. Firstly, let's just do the Freedom of Information request. Proper officer sent through a request for Freedom of Information on the contract that the Bale House and their operators, Groundwork South, have. We haven't had a response yet, and I think one of the things that we as a parish council should do is find out what happens if people refuse to answer a Freedom of Information request. So that is ongoing, as Hayden rightly said. With regard to boy racers, you may not all be aware, but there is a large car park up there, which is ideal for people to do donuts in their cars and generally terrorise people. I get increasing numbers of complaints from people who live at the top end of Fairlight about this, and some people are quite anxious about the whole issue. So the action that we are taking now is to record all incidents of this behaviour, and it is mostly in the summer because of daylight hours in the evening. So that's number one. I've been advised to send a contemporaneous note to the local police on the issue, so that they've got a record of the action. So that is going to start happening. So we will have a record of how often it happens. I'm also going to be putting out a note to residents, saying to them, if they hear anything, because I'm not always there every minute of the day, to send me an email, and we will include that as a report. Because it has to stop, because somebody will get hurt. And my biggest concern is that this small activity will basically escalate into something bigger. So action is being taken and increasingly will be taken.
Has Hastings Borough Council?
Haven't spoken to them yet because of the PERDA thing, so we'll hear
right,
back on
yeah.
that, but we will
If,
be.
can I just ask, the notice is going out as you personally rather than, that's okay.
It will be an invitation to tell me, and then I will be taking
As a
that.
councillor or as an individual?
What do you want?
It will be up to the council, not me.
You tell me. And I will act accordingly.
Councillors, what do you wish? Do you wish
Formal or informal?
a formal note explaining to people what's going on and how to report it? I mean, I think this is a community issue up there.
I agree.
Are you happy for it to go out from the parish council?
Absolutely. Yes.
And are you happy for representations to be made to Hastings Borough Council from Fairlight Parish Council?
Yes.
In order to, yeah.
I'm doing that, submit it for approval.
Yeah, if you're calling to check it. I think we need to take this seriously, and HBC need to know that they are liable for what goes on their land. I guess the police are probably a bit stymied because is it private land?
No, it's owned by Hastings. Well, ironically, if you look on a map, that car park actually comes under the demise of Rother, but it's managed by Hastings Borough Council as part of the country park.
Is it worth writing to Rother as well?
I just wonder whether it's worth reporting to both Hastings and Rother environmental health as a nuisance.
Yeah. Are you happy to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
yeah, that's a thank you, Andrew. Yes, I think you're right. We need to stamp on it before it becomes the place to go. It may just go somewhere else. The other thing that I picked up from an email from Hayden more recently is that the Hastings Borough Council have got their new stewardship plan in place. It is on their website. It explains what they're doing bit by bit. Fire Hills. Fire Hills is the most significant area of cliff-top lowland heath habitat as a natural reserve and is one of the rarest habitats in the UK. The stewardship agreement requires Fire Hills to be grazed by a small number of cattle in the autumn, winter and spring. There is no substitutable alternative to grazing with cattle to restore the threatened heathland habitats of the Fire Hills. If the Fire Hills are not grazed, this rare and threatened habitat will be lost forever. So that's the reasoning behind it. We will probably be in touch with Hastings Borough Council in the autumn to discuss with them the grazing arrangements and the publicity arrangements as we were when it was last muted. But yes, it is important if it's a very rare landscape that it is properly managed. Anything else on the country park? Okay. Fairlight Pavilion project, it is still on there. There is a report on their last meeting. We met with three of the trustees to discuss various issues, and we will be meeting with them again in August to discuss how the project is moving on. Any questions or comments from councillors? No. The Fairlight Pantomime Group. Oh no, we don't. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. Oh yes, we did. I don't know if you remember that they were looking at their constitution back several months ago and realised that they have no safety net, if you like, should the group be unable to continue as an active group. Not that they are in danger at the moment, but someone raised it. And so they decided to ask the parish council to hold any leftover funds if they folded. And if they haven't reconvened within 20 years, the parish council is then able to distribute this money to local Fairlight groups that benefit local children up to the age of 18, the allocation of which is to be at Parish Council's discretion. When they first brought it to us, it was a fairly woolly sort of affair, really. Councillors, oh yeah, are you happy to accept the strictures put on by the pantomimes group's potential new constitution? I.e., they've requested, are we happy to do this?
Ecstatic.
Ecstatic.
Absolutely fine.
Yes. It's a safety net. Can we have a vote on it, because it is involving funds? Thank you. I don't think it will involve vast amounts of funds, and I don't think it's going to be a problem for us to hold it in a ring-fenced account. Right. Moving on. Policies and practices. We haven't got any revised policies.
Are we done for Pavilion?
We did the Pavilion, yes. Nobody said anything.
Update on digestion.
Yeah, the reports on the, there's the report we've had. I can't see him, so, I mean, sorry, Jeff, was there anything you wanted to say about the Fairlight Pavilion? I'll stop suspense standing orders.
Thank you, Jan. Not what's not on the report, but I think the committee would appreciate to know the identification of the solicitor the council has appointed, please. And response from my latest letter as when available, please.
Your latest letter was arrived yesterday.
Yeah.
So the council haven't had, and it was sent, I think it was sent to Pauline and she circulated, so the council haven't had a chance to consider that, and it's not on the agenda. But we will be talking about it with you at the group meeting on the 7th of August. Yeah. If that's okay. Pauline?
Gabby Hardwick.
Okay. They were the solicitors who seemed to understand most about what the lease should involve, given it's a building project.
Is that the one in St Leonard's? Is that the branch in St Leonard's?
I don't actually know where they're from. No, I've contacted the gentleman. He hasn't said which branch is that. So. Hastings. Yeah.
Okay. Anything like policies and practices? We don't have any policies yet because I've been too busy on local plan and other planning matters to do standing orders. But we feel, the councillors, there is probably a need for a more formal volunteering policy, because we've got volunteers that work on Knollwood, as we've already discussed, and we're also asking for volunteers to take on the bus stops, and we may well be asking again for volunteers to help with some work on Woodfield. Is there anyone who would like to take this up?
No.
You're asking for a volunteer to go to volunteers.
Well, it's not a volunteers meeting, it's to look at policies basically, and to draft a volunteers policy, which is just setting out the parameters. It's not a long policy, but we kind of just need it formalised really, because we have got the volunteers, and some of the volunteers will be working on the road. It's things like, you know, if they're working on the road, whether we need high-vis, making sure that the Knollwood volunteers have appropriate health and safety checks and first aid kits.
Can I suggest, as that's quite a lot of land management stuff, that maybe a couple of land management people, I mean, Ryan yourself,
That sounds like a good idea.
Could work together on that.
Well, I think you just volunteered yourself.
Happy to do so.
Yeah, it's
You just volunteered to do it.
I'm sure. I mean, the normal thing with policies is Google it or Safari it, and
lots of
other parish councils will probably have them. Have a look at 2 or 3, and you get a fairly quick idea about what's going on, and then you can generate one yourself. Yeah, well, it's not onerous, but it does need a bit of brain power, focused brain power, right. Training and meetings attended, I went to Ralph, there's a report on there, had a nice chat with James Kelly of Highways, and the Highways stewards are being rejigged again. So we perhaps we're trying to arrange a walk round, but again I was hoping Carl would be here for that. Yeah, we discussed the Sill and the Rother and Bexhill balance with Sill. Any other training or meetings attended by all you good folk? No, thank you. Correspondence? Any future information or future agenda items that anyone wants? No.
Can I suggest that the open forum is brought before the confidential meetings?
Going to get onto that. The date of the next meeting is Tuesday the 27th of August. The open forum will come before the confidential meetings, but before I suspend the meeting, I just want to say to resolve that pursuant to section 1(2) of the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, and because of the confidential nature of the business to be transacted, the public and press leave the meeting during consideration of the following matters, and this is to discuss staffing matters. We will take that after open forum. We've got through the meeting quite quickly tonight. I will allow 20 minutes for open forum because we do have quite a lot to discuss under that, quite obviously. As I said at the beginning, questions in open forum may not necessarily be answered. Please keep your comments brief and to the point so that plenty of
videos, are they?
and these are not videos.
So
Please turn your,
If all the videos are turned off,
can you please turn
then
your,
we can then get rid of the screens.
can you please turn your videos off?